Most people think that if you stop tracking your calories, you're just completely guessing, but that's definitely not the case. I don't track my calories anymore, but I still eat goal aligned. Today I'm going to show you all 4 of my meals, the thought process behind them, and how I stay lean without tracking my calories. And at the end, I'll show you the objective feedback that I use to show if this is actually working or not. This is not me saying that tracking calories is bad. It's an amazing tool. I've just done it for long enough now to the point where I'm nutritionally competent enough to make decisions based off of things like hand portions without weighing out all my ingredients on the food scale. Meal number 1 is going down. A major reason that I can avoid tracking is because I'm eating very similar things daily. We got our oat bowl here. Now, I ran out of oatmeal, so we had to swap for, cream of oats. I had to swap it out for oat flour, which is actually a little bit more calorically dense. It's like per quarter cup, almost equivalent to half a cup of regular oats. So a slight adjustment on the road, but you just read the calories on the label and make that. Greek yogurt, berries, peanut butter. I can eyeball 2 tablespoons, people. I'm elite like that. What I do is have a calorie range per day, 28 to 3,000 roughly consumed, around 160 protein, around 350 carb, and around 75 fat. I have 3 staple meals, around 100 carb each, around 40 protein each, around 20 fat each, and then a designated creamy, that's around 500 calories. That gets me in that ballpark every day. And yeah, sometimes there's flexibility with the meals. Sometimes I'll go oatmeal in the morning. Sometimes I'll go eggs, depending on what time I have, how much time I have. Lunch can be variable, but that structure stays the same. You can have flexibility within that, but I have staples that I rotate constantly. And I mean, look at fucking that, baby. Come on. Oat flour, dates, mixed berries, Greek yogurt, peanut butter. The dates melt a little bit in the oat flour that I've been cooking. Oh man. Didn't even add honey to this. Okay, we had to get mobile and go upstairs. Along with our breakfast, we got our morning sups, multivitamin, creatine in the water, fish oil, and vitamin D, because I am a newfound member of the vegetarian diet. It's kind of a vibe. I'm digging it. I eat a lot of tofu and tempeh. I'll show you one of those meals later. Got some cinnamon here. Chris was hogging the kitchen, so we got mobile and went upstairs. You should actually track how much cinnamon I put in my meals. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing, people? Just chuck that bad boy on there. This combination of food, though, is so good. When you cook the oats and then chuck the dates and the berries in there, they kind of melt in and cool it off just a touch, but keep it warm. Woo! Baby. But you'll see throughout the day, each of my meals follow a consistent structure. Protein core, measured amount of fat. When I say measured, I don't actually weigh it out, but I'm very cognizant of how much fat I'm putting in the meal to make sure I'm getting enough fat and then not too much to blow up my calories. A fiber source, and did I already say a protein core? Carbohydrate. Because I got to get fucking 350 grams of carbs in, baby. Some days it'll drift up a little bit north of that. Fats and carbs might get mixed up a little bit, but that calorie range, baby, is where it's all at. Now it's mixed up. There we go, baby. Good lean protein source, plenty of fiber, measure amount of dietary fat, and still keep me full for at least 3.5, 4 hours. And then eat again at 12. I usually eat around 8, 12, 4, and 8. Like clockwork, baby. No calorie tracking, but the structure is still there. Meal number 1, done. You do not need a million breakfasts. You need a few repeatable staples that you enjoy and that will make eating without tracking much easier. We'll see you at meal number 2. Banging. Oh yeah, and each of my meals total up to about, give or take, 750 to 900 calories. Usually right down the middle in that 800, 825, plus my 500 calorie creamy gets me that daily total, baby. See you meal number 2. Righty, people, it is 12:30, time for meal number 2. We've had a crazy day. I went to my local coffee shop and recorded some content where I was asking people how many calories they think were in their coffee. And people got it right every single time. I think it's because the way I phrased the question. What the fuck is happening with my mouse? The way I phrased the question was basically saying, no judgment whatsoever, but how many calories do you think are in your drink? And I think that threw them off, ultimately. That made their guard go up, and they guesstimated higher. If I approached it a bit more casual, I think I would have gotten a lower calorie guesstimate, but you live and you learn, so I'll shoot it again. I'll put up a clip here of like me interviewing one of the girls. Here's what this meal looks like too. Sometimes on the actual camera, DJI, it doesn't look good, but here it looks cheeky. Same thing applies though, people, as meal number 1. Protein core, 3 eggs, and about a serving of tofu. I can eyeball that really well. It's like a fifth of the package. That gets me to that 25, 30 gram of protein range for this meal, and then some trace sources from the bagel, kiwi, beetroot, vegetable, all that jazz. Fiber, beetroot, kiwis once again, and there's some mixed veg underneath there. You can actually see it. But this is tasty. Let the kid tuck in. This falls roughly in the calorie range. Once again, protein's being ticked off. Carbs are probably a little bit lower this meal, and fat's probably a little bit higher, but it's okay. Flexibility is fine. I do tofu and egg as a combination a lot, and then the bagel is a staple for an easy carbohydrate because my appetite isn't massive, so throwing in some refined carbs is actually really helpful. So I'm not replacing calorie tracking. I have my range, right? My kind of targets for each meal. And if I'm a little bit off, there's room for flexibility. But the anchors stay the same. Protein core from the eggs and the tofu. Carbohydrate core from the bagel and the kiwi, we'll call it. A little bit of supplementary stuff from the beetroot and the other vegetable, because I ate a whole beet, which is it's not sneaky a lot of calories, but it is a decent amount of calories. Fats add up too from the eggs and the tofu. Let's tuck in, give you the first bite. My friend is actually running over to my house right now to pick up his car. He was on Love Island. Crazy scene of events there. But look at that, people. It's hanging off the edge, that egg. Let's tuck in, baby. Oh, yeah. And if you can understand nutrition on paper, but you struggle following it consistently in real life, that's exactly what I help my clients with. I try to get most of them away from rigidly counting macros and towards more behavioral nutritional practices, like using hand portions, actual satiety skills, and consistent meals. We check in with their weekly weight averages. We still use some objective data. Use that in tandem with some of the subjective skills that you're building. I think calorie tracking for a brief stint is very warranted, but people tend to just rely on the numbers without really developing those habits. Protein core, consistent meal timings, regular meal frequency daily. Regular amount of meals they consume daily. Because the goal is to be able to eat out in social settings with no stress and confidence in yourself that you can make the right decision. And that all starts with what you practice when you're alone. Come on now, baby. Okay, I'm going to tuck in and finish this. Help my friend with my car. I'm done recording short form for the day, so you guys have my undivided attention. Running calorie total, we're probably at 80 protein, 45 fat, and maybe 180 to 200 carb. One more meal after this, then my creamy to bring us home. Hope you're enjoying. Hope you're learning a thing or two. Man, eggs and bagels, match made in heaven. Not ideal for a calorie deficit, but for maintenance or a very small surplus, mandatory. What I do now too is once I notice hunger, I sit with it for about 15 to 30 minutes, confirm that it's not just a craving or an inkling, it's true hunger. And you track for so long, you almost lose that skill. Especially if you're intentionally trying to gain weight a little bit too quickly, like I did on my bulk. Lovely meal though. I have a bit more time to cook today since I'm not at the gym. I prepped a shit ton of sweet potatoes. I'll show you those right here. But usually this meal is a bunch of Greek yogurt, raisins, apple, chopped up dates, side of mixed veg with some mayo. Diabolical. But it's what's available at my work for free. Beets are so underrated too. People will say they hate vegetables Meanwhile, they're sweet vegetables. Root vegetables, people. Parsnips, beets, sweet potato, carrot. Tap in. Makes your pee red though, so be aware. And yes, I forgot a utensil for this meal, so I'm eating it with my hands like a caveman because my friend is coming over soon. We will see you for meal number 3. Okay, people. 10,000 steps has been hit. Cardio is done. Meal number 3 going down. My friend Dylan was on Love Island, so he came over to grab his car because I was holding it for him, which was pretty funny. I got a picture with him and his new girlfriend from the show, Kenzie. Super sweet. They're awesome. And meal number 3 is on the way. I'll put the actual image of it on screen here so you can see it clear. But we got tempeh, we got sweet potatoes, some fresh cherry tomatoes that my mom picked from our little garden, and some sauerkraut, peanut sauce, and cottage cheese. Crazy combination with the side of watermelon. 1 serving of tempeh is 170 calories, 17 protein, 7 fat. I did about a serving and a half, so roughly 25-ish protein. Call it 12, 13 fat. Added a little bit of light mayo. Peanut sauce has some fat too. Gets me up to that 20 range. Protein's being ticked off, easy 40-gram bomb. Carbohydrates we're looking at probably 60 grams of carbs from sweet potatoes. Plus there's some protein from the sweet potatoes. Not complete, but it still counts. Plus the watermelon, cottage cheese is a little bit. We're in that 80 to 90 realm of carb for this meal. Crazy one going down. Sweet, savory combination. Tempeh is a very cheeky soy product. Makes getting your protein in easier than just eating mounds of tofu. The cottage cheese, peanut sauce, sauerkraut. Savory goodness. I think a big misconception that people have on rest days, they dramatically lower their caloric intake. And don't forget, just because you're not training that day doesn't mean important bodily processes aren't occurring. If you train 4, 5, 6, even 3 or 2 times a week, and your activity levels remain relatively high, consistent fueling. Sure, you can lower carbohydrate intake a little bit, but I like to keep it simple for me and my clients. Same, across the board. Now, if I had somebody who was prepping, I could get a little bit more crafty with it, but for lifestyle, keep it easy. Remember that resistance training in itself isn't extremely glycogen depleting. So this whole notion to massively decrease carbohydrates on rest days, I feel like it all sounds sexy, but in the grand scheme of things, it really just comes down to your weekly calorie average. Are you in a large deficit, around maintenance, slight surplus? Fuck me, that's good. And for somebody like me who's not tracking, keeping carbs consistent throughout the week makes things way easier. I also did 30 minutes of cardio today, which I don't normally do, so it all kind of balances out. Plenty of fiber here, healthy fats once again, tasty carbs, sufficient protein. We're smashing it today. I'm going to get this up in me and continue on with a little bit of work, make a couple posts, and I want to get everything done tonight in the next 2.5 hours so I can watch some Sopranos with the fam. Good stuff, people. We'll see you at the next meal. Quick additional note for you guys that eat meat, it's really easy to estimate how much protein you're eating with something like your palm. 1 palm-sized portion of lean protein equals roughly 25 to 30 grams. Probably a little bit smaller if you have smaller hands, probably a little bit bigger, or a larger amount of protein if you have bigger hands. Since I'm doing this vegetarian experiment, tofu and tempeh don't scale the same as chicken breast, so I can't use that method directly. However, it's still a decent ballpark, and I basically just go by the serving size on the package. So for a block of tempeh, there's like 3 servings, so a third of it is my 170 calorie mark, 17 protein, 7 fat, and I scale accordingly. But for you that eat meat, easy money. Most of you, 1 palm-sized portion to 1.5 per meal. You eat 3 to 4 times a day. You have a protein core, that is. you're easily getting in the realm of 150, 290 protein. Boom. Easy money.
Temporary urban development.
Yeah.
Something for you?
Oh, I'll have what he's having.
And my buddy in the city plan check says they just pulled a permit to turn the old bus station into a mixed use.
Sorry, y'all. It's the following morning. I watched Sopranos with the family and tucked into the Ninja Creamy. Check it out. Such a vibe. I throw an apple in there and dunk it in. It's a crazy combination. Hear me out, but I love it. Get a little bit of fiber with that last meal, and it extends the eating experience. I love it. I'm big about flexibility when it comes to dieting within structure. You can see, right? My meals, I can pretty much eat as I please, as long as it follows that base structure. Yes, I have my staples, the creamy in that oat bowl usually. Lunch and dinner can sometimes be more flexible depending on what my mom's making or whatever I'm eating at work that day at the gym. But the structure stays the same for those guys. So how do I know that this is actually working without tracking calories? This little maintenance phase / very slow growth phase. Well, I weigh myself daily and look at weekly averages. I use an app called Macro Factor. I'm not even sponsored. It's just really cool. You can see what your average is. It even gives you a guesstimate of your expenditure and if you're in a calorie deficit or not. All I'm making sure right now is that my average isn't going down weekly. I wouldn't hate to see it, but I kind of want to hold this weight at least. Body recomposition is more nuanced than just scale weight. There's a lot of factors that go into it. That's a whole different video. This video is about dieting specifically. But yeah, I want to see that 168, 169 number by the end of the year, maybe into the low 170s, mid 170s max, but nice slow gaining. It takes time to build muscle, people. In combination with this stuff and my structured meals, I just reduce or I'll increase portions if needed. Protein will probably stay fairly consistent depending on how appetizing food sounds. I'll either increase the fat in some of the meals or the carbs in some of the meals. And the point is that it's not that tracking calories is useless. It's very beneficial. I have a lot of my clients do it. I suggest most people go through a phase of it. But at a certain point, it's not the needle mover for me. My training and my consistency and just long-term investment in this sport of bodybuilding is what's going to move the needle. Whether I'm having 250 grams or 240 grams of cooked white rice is not the differentiator. I can make repeatable meals, make proper decisions that are goal aligned, and stay consistent. If you want help building this kind of structure on your own goals, I have a free training and nutrition planning call below. Book a call with me. We'll chat it up. But that was a good day of eating. Hopefully you guys picked up a thing or two, and we shall see you in the next one.